we live in a world where security incidents are a reality of everyday life. And when we take a step back and we look at the broader picture and look at the broad strokes, what are the important aspects that security leaders should consider when they think about security incident response plans and things like that?
Sure. I think that as a security leader, there are three components to incident response that I need to remember every day. Number one, it's my job to get my company ready to respond to security incidents and to actually help the company respond to them. Number two, I always try and remember as part of my planning with my team that we don't just wait for an incident to happen, we prepare to respond to incidents. And number three, I prioritize communication. I believe that most teams and companies are judged on how they respond to an incident by how well they communicate it.
How do we go about making sure that now that we have identified risk, we have tools to do that, mitigate it, but now is the other aspect, which is preparing for the crisis. How do we start that onset of that thought process?
It's easy to kind of make a list of the things that could go wrong. What you can't always anticipate is what will happen as part of the attack.
Taking into account the present times, do you really think that security teams and organizations around the world had anticipated and prepared themselves for such a crisis of a pandemic?
Probably not many anticipated this specific crisis, and there are certainly some curveballs that have come at us that we couldn't, even if we had anticipated it, actually kind of stress tested against it. I doubt that any of us anticipated the demands of family members needing access to technology, the lack of monitors and comfortable desks and chairs and all the things you need to get for your employees to get them to work productively and safely. And as a result, we've seen some interesting challenges in terms of employees taking matters into their own hands by getting old computers out of the closet or basement and not really thinking about the fact that the software is very outdated and risky. The good is that we've learned a lot of lessons from our team in Beijing and Singapore in terms of what worked and didn't work as we were helping them respond. And we were able to apply those lessons. To a certain extent, that's also been good for morale as we see that this crisis, like any others, does have a beginning and a middle and an end. And so even though this one is extending out over a very different kind of period of time than most other crisis situations, you can still see a light at the end of the tunnel, if you will.